I've wanted to talk to this gentleman for a while. I talked to him once as research for my book, but I want to talk about him. This is one of the more innovative musicians you're going to meet. This is Skerik. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. Fine, thank you.
Excellent. You are from Seattle, but you're in another part of the world right now. Where are you hanging out?
I'm in my second home, New Orleans.
Nice, nice. Projects going on, things happening.
Oh yeah, just finished Jazz Fest and it was crazy.
Any stories you want to share?
Oh, every day was a story. You know, every gig is an adventure.
I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
it. Like I said, you're an innovative musician, and my audience may not be as familiar with you. So, run us through Skerik 101, the quick story of your life.
Well, I'm from Seattle and I play saxophone. And I've played with bands like Sad Happy, Critters Buggin', Ponga, the Dead Kenny G's. Um, I've toured with Roger Waters from Pink Floyd, Fred Wesley, Mike Clark, Charlie Hunter. I have a band with Charlie called Garage à Trois. And I've toured with Les Claypool for about 25 years. And yeah, tons of stuff.
Busy man.
So,
First time I saw you was with first time I consciously saw you was with Les. Uh,
hmm.
was it the Bonnaroo gig from 2000? Does that sound about right?
Well, we played the first Bonnaroo,
Yeah, that's
so whenever that was.
yeah. Yeah, because there's a clip on the DVD of you guys playing Thelon Hujinji, and since I'm a King Crimson fanatic, that
Yeah.
definitely got my attention. But your playing style is different. You're very effects heavy. What drew you to that process?
It's kind of like necessity, is oftentimes the mother of invention.
Sure.
So in the late 80s, I was uh, hanging around some very interesting people in Seattle, like the producer, engineer James Reynolds. And he had a studio, and he was always, uh, he was into very creative music and turned me on to John Hassell
Okay.
and Brian Eno. And well, I'd known about Brian Eno before, but um, John Hassell was a big influence on me in the beginning and still to this day, but uh, for his use of effects on trumpet.
Hmm.
And, I was just really curious about all that. And James was very patient with me and taught me about um, electrical effects and how to get the signal from a saxophone into the effects and out again while maintaining unity gain, which is a big struggle for horn players. But nowadays there's, websites, horneffects.com or whatever, there's all these resources and products made for horn players, but none of that existed in the late 80s.
Right.
So you really had to kind of cobble together things that were made for guitar players and not microphone signals. So it was really frustrating, and there was a lot of trial and error, mostly error. And but I was a big fan of King Crimson too. I really loved Adrian Belew.
Yes, yes.
Adrian has played with us a couple of times, and
I saw that he had the what was it, the one piece jammies with the
yeah, yeah,
with the rhino helmet there.
yeah, it's great. And he's just, he's a hero of mine. Really love
yours and
him.
mine both.
So that's really great. And yeah, so effects and effects to me is always, you have to hear it in your head
Right.
or it's not going to work in real life. You don't just put effects on your horn because, oh, this is a good idea, or these other people are doing it or whatever. You really have to have a passion. So like your namesake Jimi Hendrix was, I mean, I've been listening to him since grade school, since the
Yeah.
70s. So I just loved all the sounds that he was getting, and I was really drawn to distortion. I really liked rock, so Led Zeppelin um, and Hendrix, stuff like that. My neighbor was listening to a lot of that music. This kid,
Nice.
he was really ahead of his time, and so um, yeah, I really was attracted to that power, you know. But I was also studying jazz, and I had come up in, playing in big bands
Right.
and school, and my dad was a huge jazz fan, so I was mostly into that world and didn't really get back into rock until my 20s. And that's when I really started, you know, getting into the effects hardcore with that band Sad Happy.
Okay.
So mostly a lot of distortion.
Always a good thing. Who from the jazz world motivated you?
Oh, I kind of learned everything backwards. So as a kid, I was drawn to contemporary saxophonists
Right.
at the time and was listening to way too much Michael Brecker and stuff like that. And so I had to learn. Luckily, I went to school in Paris, France when I was 20, and they had an amazing library of records.
Mhm.
And so I kind of made myself a chronological history of recorded saxophone players. And, you know,
Interesting.
yeah, kind of starting around Sidney Bechet and people like that, and just moving all the way up, through the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and 60s and 70s, and Wardell Gray, Don Byas, and eventually uh, started studying John Coltrane and Wayne Shorter and Joe Henderson. And, those are like the big three,
Right.
and then the older Stanley Turrentine on Blue Note
Yeah.
stuff. Really, really love that. And but yeah, really the Coltrane, Wayne Shorter, Joe Henderson thing is just such a huge influence. And Paul Gonzalez
Oh
with
yeah.
Duke Ellington. I mean, I loved Ben Webster too, but um, Paul Gonzalez, he plays my favorite version of Chelsea Bridge.
Okay.
So he's really
I'm
incredible.
actually glad you brought him up because I don't get to talk about Paul Gonzalez very much. It's always for me about the solo.
Mm.
The menu in blue and crescendo in blue. I mean, 27 choruses. What goes through your mind? Do you think as a sax player when you just start playing and you can't stop for 27 choruses?
Oh, is that you're talking about the Newport live?
Yeah, exactly. The Newport
Yeah.
gig.
Was that Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. That's great. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of that particular moment probably has to do with the band leader.
Yeah.
He's the one that is allowing that to happen and encouraging that to
Just about to
happen.
say, all you could hear was the band just, go, go, go.
Yeah, I mean, Duke was feeling it at that time. That's his call, you know,
Right.
and so he allowed that to happen. I mean, I that's my guess. I mean, I don't want to sound presumptuous and
Yeah.
I certainly don't like it when other people are. So, but I have tremendous respect for, those band leaders like that, like Duke Ellington and Miles Davis, and in, how they created opportunities for the musicians in their bands in
Right.
their own unique individual ways. You know,
Can you even imagine yourself channeling a solo that long? Or it's. I mean, I also think of as a guitar player, I think of Stevie Ray Vaughan, who never. His brother said he never played the solo the same way once. He just kind of hit into this zone and just channeled everything. I mean, where does that come from? You think?
well, I mean, I think I think most people are capable of playing a long solo, and it's all about whether that's the right time for that to
Right.
happen.
Right.
And there's certainly been long solos that probably weren't as welcome in history. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great. I think it's real. It's really fun and exciting that Duke let that happen, and he consented to have that out on a record.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a cool thing, and um, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Encouraged a little.
what I forgot to mention was um, one of my favorite saxophonists too is played with Thelonious Monk. Um, what am I? Now that I'm 60, I forget things.
Right behind you, pal. I'll be 59 in November. So walking down the
Yeah.
hallway and forgetting why we got up in the first place. So yeah, that's always fun. The 27 courses. I, I get stuck on that because my mind
Oh,
doesn't work
sorry.
that way.
Charlie Rouse.
Okay.
It's total, so unique and genius, and just I think is just perfect for Monk's music. On those, it's just so great. It continues to be a great inspiration.
Yeah. Well, chemistry is huge when you're in a group, and you've gone through a variety of styles in your career. What do you look for in a bandmate?
Well, yeah, the drummer in Critters Buggin', Matt Chamberlain, he used to say something about playing our record collection.
That makes sense,
You
and
know,
he does.
so yeah, so playing, so if you have some Mingus records, and you have some Hendrix records, and you have some King Crimson records, and you have some Punk Bad Brains records,
That's a
and
variety of voices.
Dead Kennedys records, and you know Stravinsky records, and Dimi Mint Abba records, and Drummers of Burundi records, and Sukus records from Kinshasa or Congolese music, and Youssou N'Dour records, Senegalese music,
Yeah.
and Balinese, gamelan music. If you have all of these influences and you're enthusiastic about all these different kinds of music from around the world, they're just all the same. They're all it's all just beautiful music that inspires us. And I like to play with people that um, are interested in as many different kinds of music as possible, and are I like it when I can hear parts of that stuff come out in their playing.
Right.
So like we had a band called Black Frames, and our drummer, the great Earl Harvin, you know I don't know if he was doing it on purpose, but I always, when he did this thing on the toms, it always sounded like master musicians of Jujuka to me, and I just loved it. You know, you know, Critters Buggin' was really good like that. You know, it was multiple styles, and we really had a nice variety of influences.
I enjoyed that, Dan. Because like I said, I became conscious of you with less, but I had a couple of Critters Buggin' records and didn't
Oh, okay,
didn't
cool.
look thoroughly at the credits. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's here too. I mean, the band gets around. The music you play, the music I love, it feels to me a little more niche oriented. I mean, we're not talking about going for Taylor Swift numbers here. Uh, is it? How comfortable are you knowing that you've just got a narrower portion of an audience is going to listen to you? It's not something that's going to sell 10 million copies, but you found a comfort zone. How long did it take you to get there?
Well, I don't play music really for any other reason but to play music. So
Music for music's sake. I like that idea.
yeah, I never have. I know that I hear people say things sometimes, or you read things, I wanted to meet girls, or it just all this, like, it just sounds preposterous to me.
Yeah,
Um, Not because it's fine if they want to think things like that, or they want to make money or whatever, whatever. It just, that has never come across my mind. I have it's a very spiritual connection with music, and especially when you start studying the music of Pharoah Sanders
yeah,
and John Coltrane and other um, religious musics that are not created or made for commercial use.
right.
It's what I've what has happened to me, and I guess I'm very lucky, but I was always happy working a day job and playing music.
Okay.
And then I just and then in the early 90s I just started being able to pay the rent with it. But it wasn't a concerted effort, you know what I mean?
Right.
It, I tried doing kind of work, casual work,
Yeah.
etc., with music, playing some corporate thing or something. And I remember the first time I did it, like I came home and like in tears or something. It was awful. I just not cut out for that. I mean,
Makes sense.
I'll go play a wedding sometimes if there's a special connection for me to do it, a friend, or playing with some great musicians. We just did one in New Orleans last week, and it was an incredible band. It was like, I mean, it was
Well,
just an all-star band that you could never assemble except that all the musicians happened to be in town for Jazz Fest.
I have to ask who was in the band.
Oh yeah, well, it was like the nth power was the rhythm section. So Nikki Glaspie on drums, and uh, Nick Casarino, Nate um, on bass, and then like Jeff Coffin on saxophone from Dave Matthews Band, Jennifer Hartswick vocals, um, Alex Wasili. It was Kanika Moore on vocals. I mean, I guess I can't even imagine what the logistical planning alone of trying to get all those people together for just any kind of gig,
Yeah, that's herding
let
cats
alone a
right there.
wedding.
Yeah, that's herding
It's like,
cats. That's the funny
and,
part.
and and the people were super enthusiastic and music lovers, so I can do that. That's a celebration of for them and their lives, the wedding couple, but it's also celebration of music.
Right.
So I can get behind that, but it doesn't happen very often, maybe once every couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I brought it up because when I think of people looking at my record collection, and I get the same type of questions out, who are these people? I don't know. I don't know any of these people. I'm like, well, they're musicians. They're not rock stars. And I love musicians. This is why I talk to you, because you're a musician. And you just kind of go where it takes you.
Yeah, I mean, I've played on some big stages, for 15, 20,000 people or whatever with big artists before. And, it's fun. It's exciting. A lot of energy. It's cool. But, yeah, I don't know. It's like the new Compersion Quartet record
I was getting to that.
that you have. It's like, we're not, this is a situation where we don't have any preconceived notions about what the music should be. We're improvisers, and we know each other as improvisers, and we get together, and that's what we did. We improvised, and so that record is kind of like a Tio Macero, Miles Davis 70s kind of construction, where
a Bitches Brew Live Evil type thing.
Well, no, because it's a studio record, so it's not. It was not live in front of an audience. So, but we're playing live in the studio, all four of us together at the same time, and then I'll take it home and listen to everything and mark the good parts, and then I will start doing like extensive overdubs, and we'll mute things or. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. You have all of the energy, spontaneity, and fun of improvising on the record, and then you have all of the writing and sculpting of composition. So, I think Wayne Shorter said it like, improvisation is composition sped up. Composition is what is it? Composition is improvisation slowed down.
Interesting. Yeah, because I was just about to ask if you could translate this kind of music to the stage, and apparently it's possible.
Oh yeah, we had some great gigs. We did every Tuesday in February, I think, at the Maple Leaf in New Orleans, and then we played Cafe Istanbul for a record release party, and then we just played a Jazz Fest show at the Rabbit Hole. It was great. Stephen Bernstein sat in with us at the Rabbit Hole. Yeah, it's great. Nice. It's an incredible band, and the four of us have been playing together, for in different incarnations for 25 years. And every year at this festival that I throw called Sauce Fest, which happens in New Orleans on the middle Tuesday every year. And so those guys have been part of that that improvised music festival. So it's fun.
I have another excuse to go back to New Orleans because I want to see the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, more than anything. But I will happily check you guys out too. That's good motivation. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, you got to see Pres Hall while Charlie Gabriel's still around.
Okay.
A great saxophonist and clarinetist who's plays with Pres Hall is really amazing, very special.
I'm all in. Unfortunately, when I went last time, I was at a convention of policemen, and nobody was interested in going to see a jazz group. So a wiser me would have just broke off on my own and said, I'll see you guys later because I've got to go. I got to go do this thing.
You couldn't find a single that why they have the convention in New Orleans.
I don't know. It's the French Quarter, and with cops, it's booze. Let's just go somewhere and drink and what have you, and go up and down Bourbon Street, and it's a different mentality. I lived with it for 25 years. I knew I was definitely different in the brain pan than these
Yeah,
guys were. So I'm not so straightforward. I'm kind of I even treated calls that way. This isn't about me, obviously, but you got to be able to think on your feet out on the street. And I would
yeah. I
do
mean,
things that definitely weren't in the book.
that surprises me because people have been drinking and listening to jazz on Bourbon Street for
Yeah, yeah,
like 100 years.
yeah. And I'm dealing with a classic rock crowd, and I there's a time and a place for everything. But
Yeah,
New Orleans is jazz. Your group and Preservation and the Marsalises and everybody else that came from that area. That's why next time I'm just packing a couple of suits, just going down there and making sure I'm properly dressed for each gig because
yeah. Jazz Fest is the time of year, man. It's great.
yep, I
My
am all
favorite.
in. Tell me about connecting with the audience. You say you played for when I look at you guys play at like Bonnaroo. I mean, it's a huge crowd, and then you've got your club gigs. Do you need to reach someone in the audience? Is that important, or can you just play and hope for the best?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a circle, and when we're improvising, we create the music together with the audience.
Right.
They just don't get any publishing.
Well, they should have known when they signed up that they weren't going to get
Yeah.
anything.
Everyone signs a release on it.
This is
So
ours. This is ours. But I
yeah,
love, excuse me, I love being up close. I can't do theater gigs or as far as I'll go, but I would much rather be in a club where I'm leaning up against the stage. When you come to Chicago for whatever gig, you're going to see me. I'm right there, leaning up
oh
against the
yeah, man.
stage because I show up, an hour and a half before doors, just to
Yeah,
make sure I can get in there. Were you with the Frog Brigade when they played the Salt Shed, right?
yeah. In October, a couple of
Yep,
years ago.
yep.
Yeah,
That was the one. I could have sworn I remembered seeing you there because that was another. I got to interview that guy.
yeah,
That guy, he has some cool sounds. Is it your sound that draws uh, band leaders like Les, to bring you in, or do you just kind of tell them what you do once you show up?
yeah. I think he likes the texture and a different texture, different timbre. What with what I'm doing.
Yeah,
So um, he likes to use that. I mean, it's all his music,
right.
and we try and support him uh, and come up with sounds that will work with his music, and he always gives good direction. He knows what he wants.
Yeah. The phrase
And
the
it's
phrase
cool.
surf saxophone just popped into my head from
Yeah,
from,
yeah,
from one of the records, and
yeah,
there it was. Yeah,
yeah.
you had it. Does someone call something out that you kind of think to yourself, "Whoa, how am I going to make that happen?" Or is it you feel like it's reflex now?
Oh yeah. I mean, when he says that, I know what he want. I know what he's talking about.
Okay.
I think a lot of people do, and yeah, super fun. I mean, Les came up as a working musician,
Yeah.
and so he was playing in bar bands and R&B blues bands or whatever, funk bands. So he knew it. He knows what surf music is and blues and stuff. He's familiar with the different things saxophone can do and what it means and stuff. So yeah, it's fun. I don't know if you've ever noticed if you've ever been to a Primus show or
A
Frog Brigade
couple.
show or something. the walk-in music is all like older music, 30s and 40s, like Spike
Right, right.
Jones and stuff like that. That's a big influence on him. He always wanted us to learn like a couple of Raymond Scott tunes,
Okay.
which which most people would be able to recognize what that is. It's music that was used in cartoons and stuff in the old days,
Right.
but it's technically incredibly difficult to play. Um, so we never really worked on it, you know, too hard. It was it's really hard for just one horn. It's all
Yeah.
multiple horns usually play that stuff. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's incredibly
It's
challenging
yeah,
technical.
it's music that's burned into our heads. We're the same age, so that
Yeah,
that music is just you didn't know who did it. It's just stuck up there, or what have you.
yeah. I need to learn. I need to learn at least learn that song just to. I got to play it for less,
just,
And
just to see the reaction.
yeah, or just to do that for him because um, it's a great composition, and Raymond Scott was a total genius, and it's just a good thing to do.
I like it. If it won't get you in trouble, who do you enjoy playing with most? Who immediately pops in your mind as somebody if they call, you can't wait to get there.
Well, I mean, I'm extremely lucky because I have so many uh, great friends that are also amazing musicians. So, one of my favorite uh, people to play is one of my best friends, Stanton Moore,
Oh
drummer
yeah,
down here in New Orleans. And
amazing drummer.
he's always got the energy from. That's what I want. I love from drums. I love the energy. And in the past few years, I've gotten a lot more into like acoustic quartet music.
Okay,
So I play on Mike Clark's new record, came out a couple of years ago, and the drummer from the Headhunters, Mike
okay,
Clark, and I have a quartet in Seattle. And so one of my favorite drummers is in the world is Devon Lewis from Seattle.
okay.
I love playing with him, and I love playing that. Our quartet has a real vibe right now. It's really great. Tim Kennedy on piano, and Jeff Harper on bass. So I get really excited about that, and I'm a huge Hammond organ fan.
Oh yeah, you and me
So
both.
yeah, so I love, I have tons of good friends organists, and there's a great organist in Seattle, Joe Doria, and love playing with him. He's got crazy energy too, so that's really fun.
Just tell me there are Leslie speakers involved.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
that's I live for that sound. I just love it.
Yeah. I I have a Hammond A100 in my studio and a Leslie 147. I love it.
Nice, very
So,
nice.
but anyway, yeah. But I mean, any gig you see me on, I'm excited. I can't be there unless I'm excited about the music, and
Makes
playing with other
sense.
musicians.
Something else I wanted to ask, like a sax player, as a horn player, you're not necessarily comping when somebody else is soloing. Do you feel like you should be doing something else? Are you comfortable staying out, or do you wish you could find a keyboard somewhere to just kind of add a chord or two? What's the mentality with a sax player?
Oh, I less is more for sure. I mean, I'll even sit out on an entire song and feature, the pianist or guitarist or whatever, you know, I think you have to think about people's ears. Like you don't want to play a set that's too long,
Right.
because people then they stop listening. Parts of them just gradually stop listening. And it
Makes
depends, of
sense.
course, what kind of music it is. But some music is incredibly engaging, and it can go for hours, especially if it has a particular purpose, like some Indian ragas or something. But in Western music here in the States, I like to play shorter sets, leaving people wanting more.
Okay.
I certainly don't want them getting burned out and their ears starting to tune out the sound of the saxophone, which takes up a specific frequency range, you know?
Right.
So it's all about measuring and working in the moment and figuring out what's going on in the room. You know, you got to
Okay.
read the room. you
Makes
know,
sense.
other
So
people.
how long is the ideal set for you? I mean, 40 minutes, an hour, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be like 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Anything longer than that, I feel like you stop. You're not owning anymore. You're renting.
I got you.
You
I got
know,
you.
and the landlord's knocking.
Knock it off. I've noticed
Got
when I
eviction
watch a lot
notice.
more progressive oriented bands, whether it's Crimson or Steve Hackett or what have you, and they're big on dividing up their shows into sets now, which makes sense to me because even I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm at 2 hours and that's enough. That's not, my brain can't process anymore.
Yeah, and it's a case by case basis, and concept is everything too. So there's the moment, and then there's the concept, and how they work together.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I asked you about Stanton the other day when I was emailing you because that's one of my favorite sounds. You playing with him. It's
Oh, cool.
oh my god, it's a groove. It's
Yep.
such a groove. And I can't remember if you had a separate percussion player with like garage artois or what have you.
Yeah, Mike Dillon
Yes, that was
joined the
it.
band later.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean that just hits, man.
Yeah, pretty
there's
serious.
there's nothing better than music that just it goes beyond basic resonance in you. I mean, it gets all the way in you. I mean, everything is just kind of electrified
Yeah,
while that
very
is going on.
visceral. Yeah, like any of those Garage Trois records, it's all Stanton and I. And then um, the Stanton Moore solo records too.
Yeah.
First three I play on.
Okay.
It's really super fun. And sometimes there's other horns. Yeah, they're fun records. Check them out.
I will. I will do that. I have plenty to look for. I mean, like I'm not going to go shopping for records anymore. I'm done shopping for records. let's let's stop lying to ourselves, shall we? Shall we? I need to dive in and see what Skerik and Stanton are playing, so I can just have it. I mean, I'm a physical media guy. I mean, that's
Oh
just
yeah,
that's the way I am. When I left the PD, when I retired, and I got my package, the first thing I did was upgrade my sound system for the first time
cool.
in 20 years. So that had to happen because you guys sound really good coming through my big dorm room speakers with a nice subwoofer and an amplifier that's just an amplifier, no radio, no stereo, and it's
Yep.
just you guys driving forward. So you're headed back to your other home soon. What's down the road for you?
Got shows, a lot of shows in Seattle, and then the Skerik Quartet goes and plays 4 nights, 8 sets at the Black Cat in San Francisco.
Okay, that sounds nice.
Yeah, at the end of May, 4 nights, so that'll be great. And then I also play with a band called the True Loves, which is a horn band, large, like 7, 8 piece band.
Okay,
And got a couple records out. Check them out. And got a bunch of gigs in Seattle in June. I'm sorry, June and July, I think. And then my quartet is playing at the Seattle Jazz Fellowship in June. And yeah, there's all kinds of little things. Mike Clark is going to come out to Seattle in December. I just finished 2 solo records. One is an ambient record, just me
Okay.
and effects. And the other one is me and a lot of effects and Chess Smith on drums, Ciro Baptista on percussion, and Nate Woolley on trumpet. Um, Co-produced by Randall Dunn. So hopefully those records will come out this year sometime. There's a new Dead Kenny G's record that just came out last Friday,
Okay. We have to
and that's
explore
got
that
some
one.
crazy music on it. We were at the top of the game, top of our
Okay.
in 2011, and these were live shows, super high quality recorded by the Primus crew. We were opening for Primus at the time,
Okay.
so the engineer was recording us every night, and then he mastered it himself. And yeah, really thankful for him. So we released this live compilation record as a tribute to our bass player who passed away a couple of years ago.
Okay. My condolences.
Yeah.
Awesome, though. All right. I'm going to let you escape as soon as you tell the folks where is the best place to find you musically online.
Oh, you can go to skerikmusic.com or at Skerik on Instagram, Skerik on Facebook, Skerik.
Yep.
And yeah, there should be links to all the bands I play on
Fantastic.
on my link tree too.
Nice. We will find them. We will hype them. We will play them far too loud for the neighbors. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you. I
no,
appreciate you taking the time.
thank you so much.
Yep. We will see you down the road. Take care of yourself.
Okay, brother, thank you.